Hey, how's it going? I'm about to go live with my friend Rachel. We're going to be making food. Come on in. I'm going to accept her into the live. 1 second. Stand by. So I accepted Rachel. We are making some food. So stick around and hang out with us. Rachel, I said that I accepted you, so it should be allowing you to come into the live super soon. If it's not, then we will begin. Try again, maybe try again. Try asking again. We're going to try again. So we're going to be making happy peanut butter balls and a smoothie as well. Tropical sunshine smoothie, I believe is what it's called. Let's see if she can come in or if I can request her. Tried to invite you, Rachel. See if you get the notification. There we go. Hello, how's it going?
It's going well. How are you?
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I am going to turn my volume up so I can hear you better. And we are going to get to cooking demo.
How was the news this morning?
It was great. It was so good. Thank you so much for asking me. And how was Chef AJ?
It was wonderful. I don't know, where are you actually?
I'm in Indiana. What about you?
Okay, I'm in Santa Cruz, California area.
Awesome. We are going to, I'm really jealous actually. I'd like to be out in California right now. Anywhere, honestly, than central Indiana.
Well, don't get too excited because it was like raining, dumping rain yesterday. The Sierras are getting a huge it's like winter storm season here, which for us means like you can get 8 inches of rain in a day.
Oh my
so
God.
This is not the time of year to enjoy California. I mean, randomly we'll get a beautiful day and it'll totally fake us out and we'll pull out shorts and then, we'll get a week of rain, atmospheric river. So
Love it. We've got some friends in the house watching us right now, which I'm loving. We've got Andrew watching us. He's drinking his green smoothie. Rachel, you and I are meeting for the first time, and it's because of the Ultimate Vegan Health Bundle that is available now from March 1st through March 10th. So if you guys get inspired from us doing these recipe demos and you want to eat fresh and start to thrive and really take control of your health in 2024, then absolutely grab the bundle because it's going to be such a short amount of time that you can get it. So you have happy peanut butter balls to be making today. Is that what's going on?
I do. So my submission in the bundle is my book, For Fork's Sake, A Quick Guide to Healing Yourself and the Planet Through a Plant-Based Diet. And yes, the recipe is on page 61 of the book. So you get all of that. I have a couple recipes in the, what are they calling it? The Spring Inspiration Cookbook as well. I've got a recipe that debuted. It actually just made the OK Mark. Forks Over Knives released it, so I can put it in the bundle. It's a plant power, like flower power salad for kids. So it's a fun way to get kids, if maybe they don't love eating salads, you can have a kid help you make this and you can put edible flowers in it, which makes it so fun.
Oh my gosh, so fun.
Yeah.
Do you use nasturtiums in there?
Yeah, the photo is of nasturtiums, but there's a whole list of different flowers you can eat that are edible.
So, I love that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Nasturtiums are the ones that you usually will see at the grocery store.
Right.
If you're, like at your Whole Foods and stuff like that. I love that. So good. And I'm going to be making a sunshine smoothie. I don't remember where it's in. That's terrible. I can't remember whose book it is. But you guys, there's a ton of raw recipe books. And I've been eating raw since like the end of January. So we're just going all the way through Lent with it. And we're having a lot of fun. There's a lot of raw recipes in the bundle. And I'm sure that your recipes are like amazing too. I cannot wait to try those peanut butter balls because I actually used to sell, here's a fun fact, Rachel. I used to sell um, raw balls. That's what I called them
I love it.
at the farmer's market. And they were such a hit. I honestly could not keep up with
Yeah,
it. So,
so great.
yeah. Yeah.
I know. I
Andrew
was
asked
going to ask
me,
you. I have never seen one of those, and that's
yeah,
amazing.
friends. Okay, so I invested in this Vitamix. This is actually the Vitamix brand, stainless steel container. Right when it came out, um, I don't know, it's like 150, maybe $175. Maybe it's lower now. But when I saw it, immediately I purchased it because I make a lot of hot stuff in my Vitamix. I make a hot drink every single morning because that's just what I do. So I guess it's not, I'm like breaking my rules with the raw, but whatever. I have a hot drink, okay? And I put dates in it. And that is how I sweeten my drinks. And so I just blend it all up with, a little bit of cacao or my mushroom coffee and hot water. And I don't want that plastic leaching into my food. So I got the stainless steel container immediately so that I could make hot stuff in my Vitamix without worrying about plastics leaching in it. So we love it. We've had it for several years. I think this is 3 years old now. I got it immediately again when it came out. But yeah, every time people see it, they're like, wait, a stainless steel. Yeah, you guys need to get it.
Yeah,
Like,
I had
it's
no
awesome.
idea. And mine, I shouldn't even show it. It's so gross. It's like if I do a lemon smoothie, it'll clean it out, but it just has
Oh,
that
yeah.
like funky kind of dull color to it.
Yeah.
And when I placed mine, I got the wider base, which is horrible actually. So I like yours. Yours is like the original size because you can't do like single doses of say cashew cheese.
I have the wider base
Okay.
as well, which is highly annoying.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
it's highly annoying because it just doesn't blend the same. Like when I went to the Woodstock Fruit Festival, they had them, they had the original containers, and yes, you're right. Like the bottom is more narrow, and it just blends
Yeah.
small amounts so much easier. So
Yeah.
I've just gotten used to if I'm making a sauce, I'm making it like times
Right.
four, or like, I'm like multiplying everything
Yeah.
so that my blender can work like optimally. But
Yeah.
this fits on the wider base one. So
Okay.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's awesome. You're gonna love it. So let's get started. Yeah. And Suzanne said, plus hot soups. Oh, and then Andrew said date and maca. Yeah, maca is an adaptogen that can get you energized. I used to sell a maca almond butter that I made for the farmers market too. I have like this whole, let's just bring it back to the farmers market days, I guess. But okay, so tell me, what are the ingredients in the happy peanut butter balls?
So this is what's really fun. They are really what you want to make of them. So I call them the happy peanut butter balls because that's what we started with. Also in my cookbook, it calls for honey because when I wrote that, we weren't vegan. We went whole food, plant-based, no oil for health reasons. We obviously love animals. And so now if I was going to do a rewrite, I would say, use honey. You can use whatever sweetener you want. So typically I use date syrup. You can use pure maple syrup. We use, that as well. You can use agave, whatever it is that you like to sweeten your foods with. But if you have peanut allergies, then you don't have to do peanuts. You could do almond butter or cashew butter. You could do tahini. We've done a lot of them with tahini. If you don't want nuts at all, you could do like sunflower seed spread. You can also, what we typically do, because we've got the APOE3/4 gene, so
Mm.
my son and I and my father, and so we can't eat a lot of nuts. It really affects our blood work. So we use a lot of the PB2 powders. This one
Love
just
that.
happens cocoa one. And I know for some people like this, Dr. Greger would say this is a processed food by his definition, right? Because something has been taken away from it. But in
Right.
this case,
Fat.
only
Yeah.
something you don't want, right?
Right.
So if you're worried about weight or you're being really careful for heart health, then you can use the PB2 powders, or what I've got in the bowl right now is almond powder. So
Oh, wow.
fantastic. Barney butter. A lot of people use this for more protein, like to toss in their
Yeah.
smoothies. Always remind people if you're eating enough food, you're eating enough protein. So you probably don't need to be adding any, but if you are feeling like you're short on protein, then they can be great powders for that as well. So then it's basically whatever nut butter you want, and whatever sweetener you want, and you just stir it together. So it's like a creamy consistency.
Wow.
And then fun with the add-ins. So you're basically making like Play-Doh. This is really fun to make with kids.
Oh yeah.
And so you can add in oat bran, like you can add oats, like real large oats, or you can keep things small and then it's really malleable.
Yeah.
You roll them up and roll them in toppings if you want, or stick things on top. So pretty fun.
Wow. So fun and so easy. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah, you could do cacao nibs in there,
Yep.
goji berries, roll them in coconut. The
Yeah.
possibilities are endless. And then you could add some cacao powder in there and make them chocolate fudge. I mean,
For sure.
I'm sorry. I love the chocolate. I
Yeah.
love. Oh,
Yeah.
yummy. Yum.
So these are some I made earlier, and these are just, some are made with tahini. I rolled in sesame seeds. These are just plain with oats. I put some chia seeds in them. I rolled some in chia seeds. Here's your
Awesome.
cacao nibs. So they're crunchy. I mean, yeah, pretty tasty.
Love that. Hey, have you ever, here's just another fun fact for people that are looking to like if they like nutty things, but maybe they don't like, okay, here's the thing. If you're like making a sauce and it calls for like nuts or beans and stuff like that, but you're trying to cut the fat, one of the ways that you can do that if you are not living a raw lifestyle is to add beans instead. So you could use like white beans to make a sauce, like creamy versus using a whole bunch of cashews. You can do that. Like you can make cheese sauces and stuff like that way as well. But another thing to think about also is using chestnuts. I don't know if you've ever used chestnuts, but those are a lower fat version of like, and they kind of give that like creamy texture and a little bit of fattiness, but much lower in fat. So I'm like thinking, ooh, could we do a little bit of chestnuts, a little bit of powdered peanut butter, and some cacao? I don't know. I'm
Totally.
just thinking of all the different
Yeah.
variations.
They're
Love
super
it.
fun. I mean, you can make them for birthday parties. We would make them when the kids were home. I mean, our kids were 6 and 8 when we transitioned this way of eating. So it's great because you can make up a whole bunch of different kinds and stick them in the freezer and then just pull them out every day to stick in lunch boxes.
Love that.
So it's super easy. Or you can, like you said, roll them in cacao powder and you have like truffles, for a
Oh,
fancy
yeah.
dessert. So you can make them
Yeah.
really fun.
And
So
people will charge you like so much money to buy truffles like that. So like they're so easy. So I suggest people make balls like that, like quadruple or just make the recipe in huge batches and you could totally freeze them.
yeah, yeah. So
So
your smoothie.
awesome. Yeah, my smoothie is the green sunshine smoothie. And it actually calls for 2 frozen bananas, which I'm so sad that I don't have right now because we usually always have a full, huge food size container full of frozen bananas, but we ate all of the rest of them. I think it was like 12 bananas for like nice cream yesterday. And, then it's gone. So we bought more bananas this morning. I'm waiting for them to get ultimately ripe. And then I will freeze a lot more. We usually buy them by the case, actually. So the typical recipe here is calling for 2 frozen bananas and 2 regular bananas, but I'm just going to put 4 regular bananas in. And the other ingredients are spinach, and I don't have any spinach that's fresh, so I have actually mixed spring greens. And that might seem really weird to add to a smoothie, but I actually love the complexity of the flavor versus just straight spinach in a smoothie. I can actually tell, like, when you put just straight spinach in a smoothie, it almost tastes a little bit muted. Like the green, like, I don't know, it just tastes a little bit muted. Like it just, I don't know. So the variation of the different greens and like the spring mix actually, to me, makes a delicious smoothie. So I am adding about, it says about a cup in the recipe, but as you can see, I just added more. I'm like, my blender's already nice and full. But the other ingredients, I mean, this is like a sweet one. This has dates. I have 5 medjool dates. And I don't know about you, Rachel, but are you like a date snob like I am? Do you use medjool versus the deglet?
Oh, I'm actually more than that. So my parents winter down in Palm Desert where they
Yo,
grow dates
okay.
and they have dates
Yeah.
all the time. So my mom introduced us to dates years and years ago. And have you had
Yeah,
barhi dates before?
I was just gonna say,
They
you
are,
have Barney because
oh
I
my
order
gosh.
them from
Oh,
I order them from there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. They taste like caramel,
Oh my
literally. I
gosh,
mean,
they're like
we keep them in the fridge
it's
and they're
crazy.
chewy. Oh, they're so incredible. Yeah.
Oh, you can keep them in the fridge. That's amazing. I
Yeah.
need to
It
get
makes
like
them,
I
yeah.
I need to get like the wet dates. Do you know what I mean? Like there's wet
Yeah.
versus the dry dates. Just
Yeah.
Andrew said just did the same thing, mix greens into the smoothie. It works well. Yeah, I just love using spring mix in my smoothie. I also love using romaine and other greens, but I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like just straight spinach can get a little boring. There is a recipe in the bundle that has it's a smoothie that has Swiss chard in it, and that would probably be really awesome because Swiss chard tends to be salty, so could be like a salty sweet, kind of flavor combo. But okay, I immediately need to know where you're getting your dates from and if I can order because I need to get another round
Yeah.
of
I can look in the fridge and look at the name of them because
yeah.
I've been from a few different places before, and I usually just reorder with. She goes to farmers markets and meets the farmers, and so yeah, it's really fun. But there are literally like 16 different kinds of dates.
Oh
We usually
yeah.
just hear about deglet and just
Right.
the normal ones, but there are all kinds, and they are very different and have really great
They
uses
really
for different kinds.
are. Yeah. Cohen gets our son gets dates every Christmas. Like that's what his
Yeah.
like stocking stuffer would be. Like he gets dates.
Yeah.
And they're usually different varieties. In the smoothie, I'm also adding water and then I'm adding mango. And a fun hack that I just love to use is to buy awesome frozen mango because mangoes are so hit or miss in terms of like ripeness and seasonality that they're always ripe and delicious when you buy them frozen. So I use them, for salads and so much more. So those are the ingredients. So it's greens, dates, mango, and bananas and water. And we're going to blend it up in just a second here. So what are you doing down there with the balls? Or are you just like hanging out?
I don't know. So I was going to show you. So I mixed in a little bit of water just to make it like a smooth consistency. And then I added the date paste. So that's what the kind of chunky stuff is. I didn't make my own this time. And then I added a little bit of vanilla. So you can kind of see it's like creamy peanut butter kind of right now. And I'm just going to start adding. This is where you can add whatever you want. So I've got some oat bran. I'm going to add some of that. I'm going to add some wheat germ. So good for you. So dump that in and just start stirring until you start getting a consistency where they start to ball up so that you can actually roll them into balls. So it takes a little bit. If it's too dry, add a little more liquid, your date syrup, or maybe water if you're using PB powder. If it's if it's too runny, just keep adding some more oat bran or oats or flax meal or hemp seeds, chia, whatever you want to add. You can get so much goodness in these little bite-sized balls by just what you're adding into it. So I'll keep
amazing.
I'll keep adding.
Do you ever wear gloves when you're rolling them?
You know what? I don't actually, but that would make sense because they totally stick to your hands. That is one thing.
Game changing. Just speaking from farmers market ball rolling experience.
Yeah. Okay. So tell me more. Like, how did you get into whole food plant-based eating or raw eating? I mean, did you get your start at farmers markets?
Do what about farmers markets?
Did you get your start at farmers markets? I mean, were you always?
No, I actually it all really started with me. I saw this documentary called Fast Food Nation, and I just didn't realize the state of food. I did not realize. I just never connected the dots, where the nourishment that was going into my body was actually coming from, or I should actually say where the malnourishment was actually coming from, because at that point I was eating like the standard American diet, and it was disgusting. And I was feeling awful in my own body, and I didn't realize I don't know. I didn't realize how an animal got onto my plate. I just really woke up with that. And then I started doing, more research and learning about different ways to cook. And I got into the macrobiotic eating, from Alicia Silverstone, her book called The Kind Diet. That was really pivotal for me. So that was back in 2009. So it's been I don't know, 14, 15 years now, that I've been eating plant-based. And just every now and then I'll do raw, and just kind of switch things up a little bit. But we recently went to, our son and I recently went to Miami, Florida for the Woodstock Fruit Festival. So we were raw for the whole week, and now we're just like, oh, we'll just stay that way
Yeah.
because we feel so good. So, what about you? I mean, you have a book. You have like a book.
Yeah, yeah. It's really about our journey. I mean, I would say I thought I was pretty healthy, as a high school athlete and rock climber, runner, trail runner, cyclist, all of that. But I always had high cholesterol. And my dad always had high cholesterol. And he was always on cholesterol medication. I knew I never wanted to be on medication because he would have all these odd side effects. Like he'd lose his taste. And so he'd have to change medications. And so in my mid 20s, when I was told I needed to be on cholesterol medication, I was like, no way, what else can I do? And my doctor was like, oh, just cut back on eggs and cheese. And so I would do that. And then it would just creep back up slowly. So fast forward to about 14 years ago, our nephew was 5 years old at the time, and he was diagnosed with cancer. And his mom was actually in nursing school, and she had a professor who asked her if she'd looked at the role of nutrition in cancer. And they had like a small hobby farm. I mean, she had taught me how to pull mozzarella cheese the summer before. They had a huge garden. She canned and did all that stuff. But they also had animals, a lot of animals they were eating. And so this professor suggested that she read the China study and watch Forks Over Knives. And so she called me and was like, you have to read this book and watch this movie. They went overnight, whole food, plant-based, no oil. They actually did Gerson therapy for a while, like severe juicing stuff.
Yep.
And so I read the China study, and I was just immediately mad. I was so mad that nobody had ever told me any of this information. It was just like you said, kind of light bulb moment of like, oh my gosh, this makes total sense. I can't believe I haven't heard this.
Yeah.
So we, did research. 14 years ago, there wasn't as much online, or weren't as many vegan books out there.
Right.
So we did the McDougall program actually online. All of their recipes still are free. There's like 5,000 recipes. So we printed everything off to do 10 days at home. And so we got our blood work done the first day. We ate this way. I couldn't get back in until 17 days. I went in to see my doctor afterwards, and he's like, what are you doing? Because your cholesterol dropped 50 points, and I couldn't do that with medication. So whatever you're doing, keep doing it.
Yep.
So at the time, it was really like good news, bad news kind of situation, because we're like, okay, we made it this 10 days. We feel fantastic, but like, ooh, this is a really big change. We had 13 chickens at the time. My daughter had a little organic egg business that she, sold eggs to neighbors and stuff. And so yeah, we made a huge switch. So I kept trying to give the China study to people, like, this will change your life. I was like a missionary, that people didn't want to be around. So lots of people hand the book back and say, thank you so much, but it's too big of a read, too thick, too sciencey, whatever.
Yeah.
And
it is a big read.
it is. Yeah, it is. And so that's, COVID hit, and I couldn't do the work that I was previously doing. I actually taught yoga, Pilates, and did massage. I worked with people, helping them get out of chronic pain. And so that's when I decided to write the book. And I wanted it to be short and sweet, especially for families we knew with young kids who were trying to make some kind of change. But I'd talk to parents, and they would say, I barely read blogs. Like, I don't read books anymore. So the audiobook is less than 4 hours. It's a really easy read. But I wanted it to be a guide for the why for your health, why for the planet, and then how do you actually go about making this transition with maybe kids at home, or maybe a spouse who isn't on board. Whatever age or season you fall into, it's totally doable. So my nephew is I forget to say sometimes, but my 5-year-old nephew had cancer. He's a healthy 18-year-old now. So all is good there. Still eating plant-based as well. So.
Oh, that's so amazing. So you said 2009 too?
Yeah. Is that 14 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we're about, wow.
Right.
Wow. So yeah, you're very right. Like in terms of resources and stuff like that were, like cookbooks and stuff, like I really couldn't find very many. And actually I found more raw actually at that time than I did anything that was whole food plant-based. And like Brendan Brazier, like he was like a triathlete. I have his books. And he was raw, and I was like, wow, this is fascinating.
Yeah.
And it was pretty mind blowing to me. So that's an amazing story. And I love that. I really relate with you with the Pilates too. I actually used to be a Pilates studio owner. So we have a lot in common, and we have a farm as well. So sell our produce, and we might eventually get animals one day, but they will just be our pets. You know? So
Yeah.
yeah. I'm gonna blend this smoothie so we can see the end result. Let me get it blended. Oh, you like I use my tamper. I'm too lazy. There we go. My son is asking why he can't be in the video right now. He's actually supposed to be in his room because he's in trouble. But it's his life. Here we are.
How,
Behind the camera the whole time. And he's not even supposed to be in here. So.
how old
Oh,
is he?
boy. What
How
did
old
you
is
say?
how old is your son?
He's 6.5.
Okay. Yeah.
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 Yeah. You have an 18-year-old and other.
No, they're now, my son turns 20 in 2 weeks, and my daughter is 22. And they're both
Oh,
out
God.
at college in other states, and they both eat whole food, plant-based, no oil. They cook for themselves and have stayed this way.
That is amazing. That is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know, I just, the world out there is just so, like when I set Cohen free, I'm like, what's
Terrifying.
gonna happen? But he knows so much. Like he's literally grown up listening to all of the doctors. I've interviewed so many of the doctors for my podcast. He's listened to T. Colin Campbell.
Yeah.
He goes to the National Health Association conference with me every year where there's a kids program. And I mean, like, he just has learned so much. And I think that that's the difference between how I was raised and how he's raised. Like, I actually am taught where our food comes from. A lot of kids don't know,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I included like tips and tricks for helping kids because, there was a season that our son, right when we started, just he didn't like soup. And, we would have soup in the winter and he just didn't like chunks of vegetables in it. So we started this one night out of desperation, like, okay, let's play the soup game. Close your eyes. I'm going to give you a bite and tell me what is it, and he would get it wrong 50% of the time, but he loved the game. And it was hilarious because we were just visiting our, niece and nephew, and he didn't want to eat something, and I was like, hey, you want to play a
I
game? It
love
was
that.
the soup game. Yeah.
So good.
When you
So good.
mentioned T. Colin Campbell, so he did endorse my book. Actually, I was so grateful. And I tell him all the time, like, I tried to give your book to people, but for people who won't read your book initially, I'm hoping this will be a step in the door. And then I do hope that everyone reads the China study, because I
Right.
think that would change most people's lives if they just understood how feeding your body feeds cells in your body, specifically cancer cells.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be such a game changer.
Yeah, for sure it would. I met him last year, I think. And at the National Health Association conference, and like he was right behind me when he walked into the room, and I was like, "Hey, get a picture with me." And he's like, "Yes, ma'am." And I was like, I interviewed you, by the way. I had interviewed him like a few months before, and he was like, "Oh, like he's getting up there in age." I mean, he's
Yeah.
made such an amazing impact. It's just awesome. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna continue blending. There's just a few more pieces of green.
Sure.
Okay, that's done. Okay, you can go find the fish over there. Go on. I want to show the people the color. It's pretty. I really think that mango makes a difference with greens. So if people are like, they don't like just straight banana greens smoothies, which are like staple here because they're so easy, add some mango to it and it can really make a difference. Okay, so
Does it have
here's,
lemon in it as well?
this one does not, but I would ideally have lemon in it for
Yeah.
sure because that just goes so well with mango and greens and banana. I mean, it's just like a stellar combination. So
Yeah.
would just a tiny bit of pineapple added
Yeah.
to this. I mean, with smoothies, you can just do so much. You know, you can keep them really, really simple, or you can add all the things, right? You can get a little bit of omegas from adding chia seeds. You can, you know, you can make it really cold by adding frozen fruit. You can use different types of greens, different types of liquids in there, adding coconut water instead of water is another thing to make them taste even more yummy. Also, I think that adding celery to smoothies is like so delicious. You don't have to add a lot, but it just adds that, again, it adds that like saltiness a little bit, and it just makes more of a depth of flavor to these. No, you may not. Because
For sure.
you have a smoothie in the bedroom waiting for you. Um, oh,
Oh yeah. So
I want to see your happy
yeah,
peanut
these
butter.
are just I just rolled them up while you were mixing up. So yeah, I mean this is super
Yummy.
simple. These I just rolled in chia seeds. It's the plain one, and these are cacao nibs. So you'll have a nice crunch, especially if you stick these in the freezer and then pull them out. They'll be kind of chewy, and you'll get that nice crunch as well. So yeah.
So easy. And you said that you did not make your date paste this time. Do you buy a pre-made one like the Zayad brand?
So usually, I mean, I have made it before. This time I was like going to make a bunch of recipes. And so I was like, I'll just buy some. I went to Trader Joe's and they don't carry it anymore. So obviously it'd been a while since I bought it there. I went to 3 stores. I finally had to get some. This is just date. So is
Oh, the date syrup.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Date syrup.
Yeah, that's different than date paste. I mean, here, us in this plant-based world that are living like the SOS free lifestyle, a lot of us use, you know, date puree or
Right.
date, what we would call date paste. But
Right. I mean,
I also have found literally date paste, like it's thick and it's kind of like a brick,
yeah.
and it's just basically blended dates that have been smushed together. And that's Zayad brand. You can usually find it like at your Middle Eastern stores, and it's really affordable. And I love using that.
I don't know if you saw too, but in the bundle, the date lady is in the
I
bundle. It
did,
has
yeah.
recipes and a discount code. So I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to purchasing hers. Yeah, this is, I mean, it's starting to crystallize. So it's been around a while, I'm thinking, even though I just bought it. So it's, you know, gloopy consistency. I would say it's definitely not paste. It's not like runny like a syrup either. So it is just blended. But yeah, you can easily make your own as well. If you want a thicker, you know, sauce kind of thing, then just don't add as much liquid. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. I love that. Well, hey, cheers to yummy
Cheers.
recipes. We haven't talked much about the bundle, but hey, we want you to know that there is only 10 days to grab the Ultimate Vegan Health Bundle. And Rachel and my contributions are in there. For Fork's Sake book is in there. And my contribution this time is actually about how to brand yourself as a holistic network marketer, or just as a holistic, entrepreneur in general. I think a lot of people out there, especially in the health and wellness space, are wanting to grow their businesses, but they don't even know where to start. And one of the top things that you need to do is learn how to brand yourself, learn how to be the differentiating factor in the world out there of social media. Like, what makes you different, right? What makes you you? And so I talk about how to basically be seen as an entrepreneur, and I wanted to help health professionals specifically do that. So that was my contribution. But I usually do recipes, but there's so many recipes. I don't need to put any recipes in there this time.
Somebody said today, I think Chef AJ said there are over 2,000 recipes. So
2,000 recipes, whole 2,000 plant-based recipes that are going to get you on your way to feeling so much better and to correct the deficiency that 97% of Americans have, which is fiber. And you're going to get more plants onto your plate and feel so much better and really level up your skin health, your gut health, and you're going to protect the environment, protect the animals, and all the awesome things. So grab the bundle at either of our bios.
Yeah.
It's only $41. Yeah. And it's $8,000 worth of content.
I was going to show you. It's not sweets. Either, like you said, there's tons of smoothies. There's Indian oil-free, whole food, plant-based, no oil Indian food recipes. That looks amazing. I looked through that whole cookbook. I'm wanting to make everything in there. Asian food recipes, cooking with tea. I mean, everything. Tons of raw recipes. So, and this, I made this smoky cheese ball. This is Dylan Holmes, Well Your World. It is delicious. I made like 4 little ones. The other ones were covered with slivered almonds. It lasted less than half a day around here. And then Chef AJ's, I made her, these are her Goodman's peanut chews. She's calling them.
God.
Also made
I'm not even going to make them. I'm not going to, because I know myself.
Yeah, well, I cut the recipe in half for the same reason. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to make half of these. We'll have some in the freezer, but they are so delicious. And it's unsweetened chocolate. She said that she makes the full recipe and cuts it into 64 pieces. So they're literally like smaller than the peanut butter balls. And she's like, but they're perfect. They're decadent. And they really are. They're so rich with the dark chocolate on top, but literally it's like 4 ingredients. They're easy and delicious. So they'd be a fantastic addition for having guests or something like that. So,
yeah. Wow. Yummy. Well, you guys grab the bundle. Again, it's only here for 10 days. It's $49. It's over $8,000 worth of content, not only over 2,000 recipes, but also video courses. And, there's things on wellness just in general and how to kind of get your life in order and organization and, cooking, yoga, and again, branding yourself. If you're in the health space, there's a lot of different topics, and it's not just cooking, but there is a lot of food in there. And that's because if we're not feeding ourselves right, we're not going to be able to thrive in any other area of our life. So, get inspired. There's also really fancy food. I'm going live with Chef James Sant, and he's going to be making his wild huckleberry raw granola. Like, that sounds fancy and delicious, but so many fun things. So, Rachel, it was nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Take care and be well. And thanks everybody that tuned in. Bye-bye.
Bye.